Great to see so many of you enjoying our live streaming from Brands Hatch here at the Mini Festival. It's time for race number 2. It's the battle of the R53s versus the R56 in the Cooper S's. Let's go racing!
Welcome back to Brands Hatch, and first of 2 races for the Cooper S class, the R56 and R53 models. The R56, which came in 2010, was a JCW branded championship that year, 220 brake horsepower, 1.6 litre engine. The R53's 195 brake horsepower, and we had a race yesterday which was won by the championship leader Dan Butcher-Lord. He starts on pole position for this one with Rob Austin, and people said to me, is that the Rob Austin? Well, mini-wise, yes it is, but not the touring car Rob Austin, or the ex-touring car, because he's having a sabbatical this year, isn't he, the touring car Rob Austin, but very much our own mini Rob Austin on the outside of the front row. Row 2, Stuart McLaren and Sammy Bowler, one of 2 lady racers in the event. Kim Economy and our second lady, Chloe Hewitt, who comes back to the championship. And then Steve Webb and Aaron Reeve in 8th. We may not have the other 2 cars that were involved in an incident yesterday, Steve Williams and Alan Lee, but hopefully the cars we've got will give us a very good race with Daniel Butcher-Lord, the man who said to me he really struggles away sometimes on the cold tyres, and he's made a decent enough start of it. So second position is Rob Austin, and then in 3rd place Stuart McLaren. Here they come up to Druids for the first time, but Dan Butcher-Lord, DBL, which is a much quicker way of writing it down. 3 wide though as they go through Druids, and Sammy Bowler is up into 3rd place and challenging for 2nd. She stays in 3rd position, Sammy Bowler. Rob Austin is relegated down to 4th place, and Sammy's looking for 2nd position on the inside line now of Stuart McLaren. These 2 were very close in racing yesterday. Sammy, I think, picked up a penalty for contact with Stuart McLaren, but they were still great friends, chatting to both of them this morning in pit lane. So it's a good enough start. The race leader, Dan Butcher-Lord. Sammy Bowler is in 2nd place as they come through to complete the first lap. This is a 15-minute race for the Cooper S class, and as you can see, some side-by-side stuff going on. Some very distinctive liveries out there, including the Zebra of Chloe Hewitt, who we'll talk about a little bit later on. But it's Dan Butcher-Lord who is the leader, and Sammy Bowler is closing up and putting the pressure on for the race lead at the moment. Sammy's brother, Sammy actually comes from a racing family, and you might have heard the name of John Bowler, who races in the British Truck Racing Association Championship. They're over at Nürburgring this weekend, and Sammy is John's sister and having a real good race of it at the moment, with Dan Butcher-Lord, the championship leader, soaking up the pressure at the moment, and Sammy having a good look here, and is maybe going to get a run as they come through Clark Curve and onto the Brabham Straight at the end of lap number 2. Sammy Bowler, unsurprisingly, given what we've seen on screen, has got the fastest lap, a 55.850 on the first flying lap. And the Peterborough-based driver, Sammy makes a little mistake, runs wide there, and coming up the inside line now is going to be Rob Austin, but he was too far back to make that one stick, or at least go up on the inside line. But Rob will be keen to get back on it. But Sammy Bowler, who actually drives a truck for the family concern, you can see there Bowler's heavy haulage emblazoned proudly on the side, TW Bowler on the rear end of the car. And Sammy, like Chloe Hewitt, both of our ladies in this race by coincidence are truck drivers, qualified truck drivers. Daniel Butcher-Lord, an ex-karter, as of course many drivers are, coming into circuit racing. But more than that, he was the British Open kart champion, won the Kart Masters Grand Prix as well in his career. And the company concerned preparing his car as Rob Austin starts to put pressure on Sammy Bowler going into Paddock Hill Bend. Sammy's got some raw speed, I've got to say. She took she had a podium at the Alton Park round back on the 16th of June, so he's no stranger to podium positions, but that was her best result. So here, if she can grab a win or a second place, it will be a best result, but runs wide and will lose momentum again. Needs to keep an eye on that, because the clerk of the course might see that as track limits. Didn't really do her any favours, and that argument won't stack up, of course, in the clerk's office. But Sammy still busy chasing hard. This class, of course, very much aimed at new drivers into the championship. We have got some established ones, like Rob Austin, who's been a front runner in mini challenge racing for quite a while. Let's have a look at the fastest laps they go across. In fact, on lap 4, Rob Austin grabbing fastest lap. So the 24 car running in third place, the second of the two cars on screen at the moment, has the fastest lap here in this one, and he's starting to knuckle down and close in on Sammy Bowler, who is in second place. Dan Butcher-Lord, though, the race leader, has 184 points coming to Brands Hatch, of which he would have to drop 44 because you drop your lowest score. But such has been his success that he gets penalised quite heavily on that. Championship-wise, Daniel leading it from Rob Austin there. He's second in the championship. Stuart McLaren, currently fourth on circuit, is third in the standings, and Sammy Bowler fourth ahead of Keir McConomy, who is out there as well. Keir running in 8th place at the moment, so not overly happy Keir at the moment. And then Steve Williams 7th from Steve Webb, Alan Lee and Andy Montgomery. And I don't think we've got Andy Montgomery here this weekend, which is a shame. But Sammy Bowler holding her own at the moment in second position, as Dan Butcher-Lord continues in the Dan-Can prepared car, the family concern, as we said, based in Peterborough, leading this one. Sammy Bowler running under the LDR Racing, Lawrence Davey Racing umbrella. And the trucks, of course, that her brother races in, sharing the paddock most of the season with Legends Cars Racing, which is Lawrence Davies' background originally. Lawrence, the man who was the youngest ever driver to have won in Legends Cars, I think just a few days after his, now was it his 16th or his 17th birthday? I need to check the records on that one, but it's a record that he still holds. It was a non-championship race here at Brands Hatch, so he has a lot of knowledge of the circuit. As Sammy Bowler comes under pressure from Rob Austin, let's see whether Rob can close in. Second in the championship 2017 and 2018, known then as the Open class, and he's still putting the pressure on. Comes from Burlesdon near Southampton. So it's the Peterborough man still out front at the moment. Actually comes from Wansford near Peterborough. There is Daniel still out front, looking to add another win. And I know his thoughts this morning when I was chatting to him was very much about taking all 3 race wins. It's going to be slightly more difficult with the reverse grid that we've got a little bit later on. And it will be positions 4 to 6 that will be reversed. The race winner will pick the number of cars that are reversed in the ballot after the race finishes. We're getting on for half distance already, and Sammy Bowler here looking for a first P2 and running well, but still under that little bit of pressure from Rob Austin. And Rob's got the experience not only to close down, but he also knows how to apply pressure. So Austin's still there. Stuart McLaren running in 4th place, a little bit shy of those. Then we've got a little bit of a gap back to Chloe Hewitt. It'd be nice to show you Chloe's car, which is the very distinctive zebra livery, which is in deference to a pony that she had many years ago. Liveried her kart in karting days in a similar style. It's a very eye-catching machine, and we might see that in 5th place at the back of shot. No, a little bit further behind at the moment is Chloe Hewitt, and a mistake there from Sammy Bowler, who goes across the grass. But Rob Austin hedging his bets. He doesn't want to get involved, doesn't want any damage, and there wasn't perhaps room for Rob Austin to go through. But what Rob will know is that Sammy is on the edge here, and now he's got a bit of momentum. Looks to the outside line. He's going to try and draw level as they come past the start-finish line. Now dives to the inside line. Whether Sammy's seen him or not, I don't know, but he I think she has. Goes into Paddock Hill Bend, and Rob can't quite go through. This is all an absolute gift, isn't it, for Dan Butcher-Lord, who will start to pull away and building that lead, which is out to 2.4 seconds now, with 7 minutes still on the clock. Sammy doing a superb first few corners, you have to say, from fourth on the grid in the 666 car. But there is the A-Reeve Motorsport. Aaron Reeve is in this race as well. Actually, no, he isn't. Didn't take to the grid, but is with us this weekend. Aaron Reeve, one of the many teams that provide excellent machinery out there for drivers of all of the classes in the Mini Challenge. I tell you what, Rob Austin is not closing in again. Sammy's got her head down. Let's have a look at the last couple of laps. Austin was momentarily quickest, but Dan Butcher-Lord goes quickest with that last lap, lap 9, a 55.232. Rob Austin, and there again, a little mistake from Sammy Bowler. I tell you what, if Sammy gets a little bit of coaching, those rough edges would go. She is a fast racer, no doubt about that, and running well in second position. I was talking to her about maybe having a guest outing in the British Truck Championship. One thing is that she said her brother wouldn't lend her his truck. And I think we need to congratulate John Bowler on taking a win at the Nürburgring. I haven't checked it out, so I'm going on hearsay at the moment for this weekend, and that'll be his first win of the season. But Sammy doing the family proud here at the moment in that treble 6 car, based in Stockport, Cheshire, and still coming under pressure now from a resurgent Rob Austin. Do not discount Stuart McLaren, who is there in 4th place as well as they cross the line, and McLaren will see these two fighting, and that might give him the chance to close up from 4th place. Big gap back to 5th at the moment. Chloe Hewitt, I think, is still there. Chloe 4th in the championship several times, and this her comeback round, as it were, for this year, and enjoying it, and has spent very little on the car as Rob Austin finds the inside at Druids, but that will convert to the outside as they come down into Graham Hill Bend. The wider line might give him momentum along Cooper Straight. They're both respectful. They're very spot on in terms of track limits there. Sammy a little bit defensive, but Rob Austin can't quite get the momentum to have a look up the inside line. He drops back again, having a little breather. I'm wondering if this is Rob just watching where perhaps Sammy's weak spots might be on circuit. But now Stuart McLaren is starting to close back in. I said don't discount McLaren in 4th position. No stranger to the podium. He's had 3 of those this year already, and he can sense that there might be one in the offing here. We've got 4 minutes to go. I don't know about you, but I'd quite like this race to go on a little bit longer. I'm not sure that will be the case from Daniel Butcher-Lord. But he is away with, what's the lead now? 3.668 seconds for Dan out front. Sammy Bowler still in P2. And I tell you what, she is going to be thinking here this could be a maiden second position for the young maiden from Stockport. And let's see now, but it's a 3-way fight because Stuart McLaren is going to be keeping the 24 car honest here. This is good stuff. So we've got the Dancan car out front. Second position is the Lawrence Davey Racing Machine. Then the A-Reeve car and the Mad 4 Mini prepared car of Stuart McLaren in 4th. And that's the 3rd car of the trio we're looking at with just under 4 minutes to go as they cross the line and complete lap 12 here. Black and white flag going out. Is that to Sammy Bowler for maybe track limits? I don't think she's done it that much, to be perfectly honest, but she is still there in second position. But now loses momentum, goes wide. Rob Austin's having a look up the inside line into Druids and challenging for second place. Surely Rob will take it unless Sammy can hold on to the outside line. There's not the grip there. Is she going to lose 3rd as well? Comes back across and just saves 3rd from Stuart McLaren, who looks on the inside line to try and come back into it. But that was a well-judged move by Rob Austin. And Sammy Bowler, we know she's got the pace, maybe obviously still learning her racecraft here, but she is very definitely, in my book, marking herself out as a star of the future. No doubt about that at all. Sammy Bowler with second place, but Rob Austin, vastly experienced mini racer, and it showed there. He needed that experience to get past Sammy. Here they come to complete another lap. The gap first to second goes out a little bit further, 4.1 seconds now between Dan Butcher-Lord, the championship and race leader. It's going to do his championship hopes no harm at all, and Sammy getting defensive again, a repeat of the battle we saw yesterday as Stuart McLaren looks on the inside line now. Sammy's going to try and hold on. Was there a little bit of a touch between the two? Sammy's got the inside line down into Graham Hillbend and will hang on, but here comes Stuart McLaren, who does the cutback on the inside line and grabs third place. Very well read indeed by Stuart McLaren, man based in Cambridge. And as I say, those two were having some good banter today, this morning in pit lane. But the Mintex back car going through and taking third position. So Sammy Bowler back where she started. But boy, have we had a lot of fun along the way watching those cars swap positions. And that is exactly what Mini Challenge Cooper S Racing is all about. So through they go. I'm going to look back. What is the gap on the clock back to Chloe Hewitt, who's still running, I think, in fifth position. In fact, Chloe has dropped back now down behind Keir McConomy and also Alan Lee. So we've had a change round of those as we watch Stuart McLaren now in third place. You've got to say, with a minute and a half on the clock, probably things now settled as they might well be to the checkered flag. So it's Daniel Butcher-Lord still the race leader. Only dropped one place all season so far. That was race 2 in the opening round of the year on the 11th of May at Snetterton Circuit. Appropriately for him, his home circuit, but he wouldn't have wanted to have dropped that place there as he goes across the line. The lap times are 55. We might possibly get an extra 2 laps here, an extra lap after this one, but we'll keep an eye on the start-finish line to see whether we do get the checkered flag being readied at the end of this race. But Daniel Butcher-Lord again hasn't really had to worry too much about this, apart from getting the car off the line at the start. Second, third and fourth places keeping themselves occupied right the way through this wonderful 15 minutes of action. So I'm just casting my eyes down. It looks like the checkered flag is being readied. So this, in theory, is going to be the last. I'd say it's going to be nip and tuck on the timing clock as to how it goes, but the checkered flag is out. There is Sammy Bowler still running in fourth position, but here is the race leader, and to take another win and extend the championship lead in the Cooper S class of Mini Challenge is Daniel Butcher-Lord. I'll tell you what, they haven't put the checker out because he just snuck in, I think, as they went across the line before the time ran out. And I tell you what, the race organisers, hats off to them, giving the drivers every minute available, every minute possible. So Rob Austin has now got to do another lap. I don't think that McLaren is quite close enough to be able to challenge him for that second position. But you can see the timing clock has run down, and Dan Butcher-Lord will pedal it round for another lap. Second and third, not too bad. Sammy Bowler still there in fourth place. And then a gap back to Keir McConomy, who is running in fifth place. That's only one place off of his best result of the season, which was race 2, round 4 of the championship at Alton Park back in June. But this time he will see the checkered flag as Dan Butcher-Lord will continue a stunning run, makes it a double here at Brands Hatch this weekend. Second position goes to Rob Austin, Stuart McLaren in third, Sammy Bowler is in fourth, Keir McConomy a little way down. It was 10 seconds or so the gap back to Keir McConomy, and as I look across the circuit we can see Keir just coming through clearways now, and it's going to be a clear fifth position for him as Dan Butcher-Lord, the former kart champion, was asking him about aspirations for next year. A possibility they might move up. They're looking to continue to prepare cars, and they've got James Hillary running with them, and we'll see James later on this afternoon running in the Cooper Pro Cooper Am race, and Dan might have some aspirations to maybe move on, but the aim really, he was saying, was to try and build the team, which is a commendable thing to be able to do. And when you've driven the car, engineered the car as well, and Daniel was very much hands-on when I was chatting to him this morning, that can only be good for a potential customer base. So I just need to grab the result, which I'll run through for you. And Dan Butcher-Lord, the race winner from Rob Austin in second place. Dan Butcherlord also taking the fastest lap. Stuart McLaren in third. Sammy Bowler is in fourth place. Kim Economy did indeed finish in fifth place ahead of Alan Lee in the 190 car. Chloe Hewitt comes home in seventh, ahead of Steve Webb, who replicates the eighth place that he had from yesterday. And sadly, we lost Steve Williams in the number 7 car, one of three Reeve Racing cars that were due to be in that race. So a good outing for the Cooper S's. It's going to be interesting because we have between P4 and P6 being reversed. So pole position for race 3 of the weekend will either be Sammy Bowler, now that's going to be a tantalising prospect, Kia Economy, or Alan Lee. Didn't talk too much about Alan Lee, unfortunately, in the 190 car. Alan, who comes from Kings Lynn in Norfolk. It does seem to be a sort of East Anglian flavour to a lot of the drivers in the championship. But it's going to come, pole position will come from those drivers for our third and final race of the weekend, the second one that we'll see here today. Splendid silverware, as ever, provided by the championship. And the cars on their walk this morning, on the pit lane display this morning, were proudly displaying everything that was won and hard earned yesterday. And it will certainly look good in any of the sponsors' show premises as well. So we've now got to wait for the drivers to make their way from Parc Ferme. It shouldn't be too long a wait, actually, because all of the challenge cars are occupying the pit lane here. Although, having said it shouldn't be too long because they are in the pit garages, which is where they'll take the cars back to after Parc Ferme. There will, of course, be a lot of colleagues to talk to on their way down into the podium celebrations, which are, again, I think, going to be looked after by the circuit commentary team for you here. So can't see any sign of them sauntering their way down. I know from experience as a circuit commentator that what we very often do is cut out the middleman, as it were, and wander up to Parc Ferme to interview the winners. And you can guarantee that if you walk up to the other end of the track to Parc Ferme, that the winners are then in a car and make their way back, right the way back down to the podium, and you miss them. So then you have to sprint back, and then you're out of breath to do the interviews. But the drivers have it much harder, of course, in sweltering conditions that they've had. It's been very hot for them, but no sign of fatigue for any of those. We might get it at the end of the day. The last race for the Cooper S's is at 4:20. So in terms of the mini challenge races that we're covering for you here on Facebook Live today, we've got the Cooper Pro, Cooper Am race 2 of the weekend for them, which will be around about 10 to 1. And then we go into, if you're at the circuit, we've got a fairly long lunch break, parades and things like that. Probably a good idea to check in a little bit earlier with us, maybe 12:45 we're being told as well for the Cooper Pro race. Here come our 3 winners. So right of shot, we've got Stuart McLaren, and then Rob Austin left of shot, and in the middle our winner Dan Butcher-Lord. And you can see that all of the guys happy to have done well there, and they all get on. Camaraderie is a key word for the mini challenge. Handshakes all around. I tell you what, it doesn't look like Dan has even broken sweat to me. Another of these young drivers who obviously spends a fair bit of time in the gym. The other lads look a little bit more hot and bothered. To be fair, those guys did have to earn their spurs in that race, and were put through a little bit more of a workout than perhaps the race leader. But Dan very happy with that. Now, I didn't get introduced this morning, but I'm making the assumption, and apologies if this is incorrect, that's Stuart's son, but we'll try and find out for you and let you know. He's certainly keen to go up onto the podium with Dad. They've come through fairly quickly. Yesterday's race, so just looking at the result, is actually a mirror of yesterday's result. And, you know, on paper people go, oh, it was the same result. But what a fantastic race we had to get there for round 6 of this year's championship. It continues at Croft on the 18th of August. Cadwell Park on the 7th of September, and then we go to Donington Park at the end of September, and the end of October, the finale for the Mini Challenge Cooper S runners, which is at Snetterton, I think on the 300 circuit. But quick focus there on that's the pit lane immediately below the podium. We've got a big number of people in the hospitality units here today that are on the other side. It's a shame we can't do a lap of honour for the drivers, actually, because that would give you an idea of how many people there are around you can see there, lots of people in today, loads of paying spectators coming in to watch this racing. And on the podium, Chris Dawes is virtually ready there with our top three. The silverware is there, the drink is there as well. We've got the supportive youngster is there as well, and it looks like he's going to be doing the honours. So here comes Stuart McLaren, who takes third place. We'll hand over to Chris when the interviews start, but he is, isn't he? He's a chip. It's got to be his son, isn't it? Chip off the old block, I think we would say there. Stuart looking very happy with that. Loving his racing, certainly, this morning when I spoke to him. And limping out, Rob Austin. Limping out onto the podium. A firm handshake, which is what we like to see. And spot on with the trophy. A quick look to camera for Rob. And here is our winner, Dan Butcher-Lord. A reminder, a talent in karting, open kart champion and kart masters winner as well. They are not easy championships to win. So super result. Handshakes again, underlining the camaraderie of this. Let's hand over to our man on the spot, Chris Dawes, with the interviews.
Oh, the draw, yeah. You'll do the draw. Just pick the one. You're all right. Oh no, it's 10. There isn't even 10. Daniel. Congratulations, a great victory, but you didn't get it your own way this time.
No, it was definitely a hard few laps just to pull it away, and even so, it was only half a tenth a lap. But yeah, after a few more laps getting temperature in the tyres, got a bit more comfortable. A few minor mistakes going into paddock, but after that, it was all singing, all dancing really. But I was just keeping a look in the mirror, even Sammy holding up the rest of it. I thought that's all right, just keep the points back, and I can gain a little bit more. But no, it didn't work.
Probably the great thing to see the fight going on behind you.
Yeah, just obviously it keeps me more comfortable, and it just kept the mistakes down to a minimal.
Absolutely, great job, great victory. Rob, congratulations, old man. But you had to work really hard to get back up into that second. It all came down to a little mistake up at Druids.
Yeah, it was tricky because she was running a very wide car, but managed it in the end without any contact, so that's all right. But meant he pulled away again. And actually the circuit was much slippier today, I thought. The times weren't as good as, I think those Formula Ones must have dropped a load of rubbish on there.
As always. Well done, Rob. And Stuart, congratulations. I mean, wow, it looked like a big gap to try and make up initially, but you did it, you just chipped away and snuck it through.
Yeah, I did the switch back into Graham Hill Bend, and managed to stay in front and break the toe again. But yeah, it took a while for the tyres to come in this time, which is why I struggled at the start. But yeah, as you said, I chipped away, kept my head in the game and caught back up to them. And I think I could have, gone one more eventually.
Well done, no, great third place. Mark, back to you.
Can you ask them to stay behind? Rio wants them to stay behind. Nail-biting stuff in the last 5 minutes in the battle for second and third place. Wow, but Dan Butcher-Lord smashing it. We'll be back again for race number 3 at 12:45, so make sure you're there. It's for the Cooper Pro class.